Hi everybody, Jared here with Day Traders FX. It is Tuesday, and normally we would have a live daily update today, but we're going to have a couple of live sessions that everybody will be welcome to join in on. One of those will be the FOMC statement, which is happening tomorrow, and non-farm payroll, which is Friday morning. So we'll have two events this week that will be public for everybody. So the details will be posted on Day Traders FX and on Twitter, so keep an eye out for that. As far as this fine day of trading, we've seen some interesting movements here. So far, everything is pretty much in the red. As you can see, oil's down a bit, gold's down a decent amount. The Dow is down, the S&P is down. Everything's just been getting hit, and it's been partially in part due to the fact that we've seen some good economic reports, and traders are really hoping to see some bad news so that the Fed will have no choice but to provide more QE. But with the good news that we've seen, that's probably going to put QE, kick it down the road just a little bit, put it on the back burner, and that's why we're seeing some dollar rally and we're seeing stocks getting kind of hammered. So, a couple of things to keep in mind there. We don't have anything too exciting coming out the rest of today, but coming into tomorrow, we've got lots of stuff. We have, for the pound, for the UK, we have manufacturing PMI. It's a bit of a mover. We have the ADP non-farm numbers coming out for the US bright and early, and that is definitely a bit of a mover. We have the ISM coming out as well, which is a bit of a mover. And then to top it all off for the day, we have the FOMC statement, which is a lot of a mover. And so that's going to be something to really, really keep a close eye on. That's going to really bring some activity. So we're going to have that open for everyone to join us and participate in that. So here's what we have going on some of these pairs. First of all, let me point out that we do have a little bit of a pin bar right in this area here. The euro dollar has run up and it's just having a hard time. It's kind of creating this I need to go to the chiropractor head and shoulders pattern here. And so far we're kind of really having a hard time with this resistance. Now you see that this is a 38% fib, and if we take it back out to the daily chart, we can see that from the breakout of this channel and from this recent move, the highs of June to the lows of July, that's really struggling at that 38% fib, and it's also just tapped the 50, and that was Friday of last week. We saw it just run up and just come a couple of pips shy of tapping the 50%, and then coming all the way back down, and we're still continuing to struggle with that 38% fib. So that's what we're keeping an eye out on, and we've got some great setups in the works, and some good things to look at. But if that pin bar holds out, we have some nice potentials of a breakout coming back down through this trend line. Now it's going to be a little tricky on the entry. We're going to have to use some of the 5-minute short-term breakouts on this and kind of look at some of these trend lines and so on and get that entry really dialed in from the 5-minute chart. But so far this little pin bar is looking kind of interesting. This strong resistance right here is looking pretty good, and we may start to see a little bit of downside potential into this 122.45. Below 122.45, that really opens the pair up to some big downside movement into 121.60, 65 area, and then even back down into these lows, which I do expect to happen eventually. But as Draghi has said, the euro is like a bumblebee and something blah blah. If you guys haven't read the article, check my Twitter. It's absolutely ridiculously fantastic. So have a little look at that. But as far as these setups go right now, above this high, we need to break this pin bar before we have any kind of good potential setup, and that's about 123.20. Otherwise, we're just going to watch this trend line, and we're going to look for a break here, especially as these pivots reset and so on. We could have a we could have a sell entry somewhere around or below about 122.80, somewhere in there. I'll have details coming out in the chat and on Twitter about that, but we're going to keep an eye on that. But the big level to watch for over the next 12 to 24 hours is going to be 122.45. A break below 122.45 and this pair should be headed big time down. Okay, so the pound dollar as well. We had a little break on the pound dollar. This thing was kind of a wild mover this morning. It broke down, ran really quickly, and then it came all the way back up, and it's just been all over the place, and it's right back in this channel. So still think that this 156.70 is an interesting level, and back below this, I think things might get interesting. But we do have a big pin bar once again. Nice little reversal on the 1-hour chart here. And so one of the big levels to keep an eye on is going to be 157.25. Above that, we should get a 30 to 50 pip run run up into that 157 kind of 50 to 75 area, and potentially even all the way up into 15800. That's going to be a big level, but of course the news coming out is going to really affect all of that, so we're going to keep an eye on that. But really just watch this 156.70 for now, and if we get back below this, we should be able to see a couple of pips. But this pin bar could very likely give us a pretty big reversal, so we're going to keep an eye on that. Euro yen, the euro yen. This has given us some interesting little setups and movements. We're currently in the euro yen. Actually, we're looking for a bounce. We're looking for some breaks actually, and some bounces off of some of these levels. We got in at the break of these highs, and it's been consolidating above that the entire time. And it looks like it may still have some potential to make a run, but it's going to need to, obviously break these highs and definitely importantly stay above about 9,600. Because as we start getting down to some of these levels, like 95.90, this could be a big kind of any direction kind of a point. Below this area, we could see some decent downside potential, and above this area, a bounce on this could push this right back up into that 38% fib. But I do like a break of this as well. I think below 99 or 95.90 could be a very nice run down, and we could see some nice pips into about 95.15 and even beyond. Definitely we should be good for a very easy quick 20 pips into that 95.70, which has been kind of that Friday low, and that support that's been holding very strong, so keep an eye on that. Not too interested in the Aussie dollar. A break of that high could be interesting, but I think it might be starting to come down, so just watch those lows there. And then gold is coming down into the gap, into the lower daily pivot, and it's really kind of getting soft. So if gold continues down, then that could definitely start driving these pairs lower. But if it does not, let's watch for some breaks of some of these highs. And I think, once again, this little pin bar could be a very nice little trade and a very nice little setup to give us, start giving us a break of that trend line down into 122.45 and potentially beyond. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that and watching for those levels. So really the ones that I would keep a close eye on today: euro dollar, euro or pound dollar, and euro yen. Those three pairs with those setups should be the best, and I'm looking for those to give us some good movement. So I'll have more details coming out on Twitter, and once again we'll have some live stuff that everybody will be welcome to join in on for Wednesday FOMC statement and Friday morning non-farm payroll. Best of luck, guys, and we'll see you in the chat.